that one a reality show about him and his daughters,
Oh, jeez.
who were all foxes,
Oh, yeah,
surprisingly.
yeah.
But speaking of human misery,
Yes.
so the weekend for the box office that was, usually we try to not call movies flops or bombs until we've had a second weekend to look at it. But um, let's uh, let's leave Little Mermaid for last here.
Yes.
Um, so as far as new releases go, we have a series of small releases, kind of rounding out the top 10. Which Kandahar apparently is another movie in the style of Plane, which is a simple
Uh,
action movie starring what's his name?
Gerard Butler.
I know I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound stupid and be wrong.
Yeah.
You Hurt My Feelings, which sounds like
Oh, yeah.
Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds like a laugh a minute.
Oh, yeah.
um, we've got About My Father, which I think, yep, Robert De Niro movie.
Oh, God.
Have not heard anybody say anything about that.
Robert De Niro has made so many bad movies in the last like 5, 10 years. It's not even funny.
Yeah, then we've got The Machine.
Oh, that's with Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah. It's 23 years after the original story that inspired it. The Machine finds Bert facing family crisis, strange father, the ghost of his booze-soaked. Makes me exhausted. That exhausts me just reading it. But good on
Yeah.
Mark Hamill for getting some work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So things of note in the top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy is having a crazy hold.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's legging out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at in its fourth week, it made almost as much as Fast X did in its second weekend. So
Yeah.
that's impressive. Yeah, we're looking at like a 2.63 leg out, which we looked up Thor Ragnarok. No, we looked up Thor: Love and Thunder before the show. That's more legging out than Thor did in its entirety.
Yeah.
After 4 weeks. In fact, 741. Has it already outstripped Thor: Love and Thunder in total box office? Close.
Close. Yeah.
Which, considering it opened like 30 million less with a
Yeah.
reasonable amount of competition around it, I think this is clearly kind of bucking the Disney trend of just falling off that cliff. This is
Yeah.
one where it seems like people were a little reluctant because the last few Disney movies have been crap.
Yeah.
Last few Marvel movies have been crap, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, so this is probably word of mouth getting around that. No, guys, it's actually good. Seriously.
Yeah.
Which, to the best of my knowledge, neither of us have seen this yet, but we definitely keep talking about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll see it in the theater or not, but I'll definitely watch it once it drops on streaming.
Yeah. Um, Now, as far as big disasters, Book Club, the next chapter dropped 71%
Ooh.
in the second weekend, and it didn't have a high place to start from in the first place.
Yeah.
Less than $1 million for its second weekend. Total gross of 16 mil. Yeah, hopefully they didn't spend too much money on this one. Which, this is apparently a sequel. I didn't know there was an original Book Club movie.
I didn't either. Yeah. And Ninja points out Fast X dropped big.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
66% drop in its second weekend. That's like some Batman v Superman numbers there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
this movie also didn't open terribly big, though. We're kind of seeing the difference between how much the U.S. cares about this movie versus international. After 2 weekends, 117 million in the U.S., 428 internationally,
Wow. Yeah.
with China being like 117 million. which
China
actually
likes,
means
yeah.
that they made less money because China takes a bigger piece of that pie.
Right, yeah. And I guess China likes movies about family.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's Meanwhile, it seems like well, let's see. Is there anything else you want to talk about here? Do we have a budget for this movie?
Oh, I'm sure it's in the
Three
hundred.
hundred and forty million. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Now, apparently this is one series where they're comfortable enough not necessarily making it back at the box office because of the knock-on effects that putting out new movies has on the rest of the series,
yeah.
and the fact that since it's so big internationally, they do actually make a lot of distribution deals on foreign TV and local streaming services and things like that, as
Yeah.
opposed to if is this a Universal or a Paramount? Universal.
Universal, I
Like,
think.
whereas if Universal was just shoving it onto Peacock after 30 days, oh, that would be a disaster.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wonder how much of that budget is going into paying the cast.
It's got to be a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
Like let's do the traditional 50% advertising on top of production budget
Okay.
um, times 1.5. Yeah, we're talking a billion to break even.
Oof.
And actually, it's worse than that because that billion to break even is like at the US 50% ish rate.
Uh,
Considering that China is about a quarter to a fifth of the movie's run, that means you got to make a double in China what you make in the U.S. to equal out.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, this movie is making big wads of cash, but it's cost big wads of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've only ever seen the first one.
That is one more than I have seen.
Yeah.
I still think the funniest description I ever heard of it was your boy Zach, who basically put it as it's about a universe where cars are magic, but people didn't realize it at first, and over time they've realized how magic they are. Which is why every movie they can do more and more ridiculous things with cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, man.
On the flip side, I think we're ready to talk about the rotting whale in the room,
Yes.
Little Mermaid, which is like the reverse, where the domestic box office likes it, and the international box office does not care.
No, they do not.
And Holy Ninja Toast says mechs are cooler than cars. Okay, so I'm going to admit to something that's kind of stupid or kind of
Uh,
silly.
Okay.
I have never been a car person. I find cars kind of pedestrian and boring. I see them as a way to get from point A to point B. And like literally, if I was on the market for a new car right now, all I would care about is gas mileage and reliability. I am that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah. Good.
Meanwhile, I have the rules of BattleTech mech construction memorized. Like I didn't like I did this back in like junior high and high school and early college,
Yeah.
up until the company went under, and they kind of jumped ahead 70 years. I lost interest,
Yeah.
um, but I can still like design mechs per the board game rules casually in my head because I've memorized a lot of the tonnages. So, what does that say about me? I think that might be my undiagnosed autism. I don't know.
Yeah, I never I was like you, kind of like you. I really don't know anything about cars really. The only knowledge I have of it is watching like old episodes of Top Gear and the Grand Tour, and even then, it's not really even like a car. That's not even really a car show. Those aren't car shows. Those are just like three middle-aged guys driving around and acting like idiots.
Yeah, it's like stunt shows.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we got diverged there, also explains
Yes.
why Holy Ninja is such a Transformers fan because they're cars and mechs.
Ah, yes.
So Little Mermaid. Neither of us bothered to go see the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, yeah, that's only half the story. I have no desire to see it whatsoever.
Yeah. Now, I think we mentioned this a while back when the initial brouhaha about the race of the main actress came up, where I kind of admitted there's not a scenario where I would be interested in seeing a live action shot for shot remake of The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, yeah. Same here, and not only that, like I have no interest in watching any of the live action remakes of any of the animated movies from Disney. I haven't seen any of them.
I saw like bits and pieces of Beauty and the Beast. It was one of those deals where other people were watching it, and I was on my laptop at the table, so I caught bits and pieces of it.
Uh,
Um, but I feel like there was no. I think I have managed to miss all the rest of them. I hear that Cinderella is worth watching. I think that Shadiversity might has cited it as one of his, if not his, favorite movie.
yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard Cinderella was good. I think Kenneth Branagh directed that one.
Hmm.
So
I've also heard good things about The Jungle Book.
have not. Yeah,
I think yeah, I remember an Andrew Clavin review from the time saying it was really good.
yeah,
So, but that's but yeah, I think I just wanted to lay out that thing. It's like this isn't like, oh, we're jaded Little Mermaid fans who we collect all the action Little Mermaid action figures. We're deep into the Little Mermaid expanded universe. Although the Disney Channel cartoon was pretty good. I enjoyed they had the lobster mobsters who were always fun when they showed up.
Oh, gee. And Ninja says both are cooler than the Little Mermaid, both versions.
Yeah, but so yeah, so we were never super invested in this. So we're kind of looking at this from a numbers perspective, and it's just kind of fascinating how this is the reverse of Fast X.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, because it's usually the opposite with a movie like this. You know, where the domestic audience isn't there, but the international audience is propping it up.
Yeah, there's like a couple of theories about this. That actually, first off, um, over the 3 days of the Memorial Day weekend, it did not hit 100 million.
Ooh,
That's an oof.
I think Top Gun Maverick did because it came out around this time last year.
Yeah, let's be unfair. Let's
Yeah.
pull up Top Gun Maverick and yeah, the biggest post-pandemic movie. Why not? That isn't an Avatar movie. Sure, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 126 million is opening weekend, and at the time that was seen as like a mild underperformance.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
boy, that's kind of hilarious in retrospect.
Yeah.
The power of legs. But I
Yep,
guess mermaids don't have legs, so it's not to be expected.
that's true.
Now I think they were like I think we've hit the end of people wanting to see these things. So let's talk about reasons this could be.
Okay.
One thing that actually occurs to me is Disney Plus,
Hmm.
because Disney with their vault system was always taking their movies in and out of circulation. So you could make it special for a new version of Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin or whatever to be around, because you didn't
Right.
necessarily have immediate access to it on streaming. Now you could buy it on digital, but it's more fun to go to the theater,
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, and they would release them and re-release them in theaters every few years too.
right? Which they stopped doing. So I think that's a piece of it, was that it was more novel.
Mm,
But now you have Disney Plus. Actually, you know what? Let's fact check this. Can I
okay.
go and watch The Little Mermaid right now on Disney Plus?
I think you can.
So now, and it actually is. is between this and Mulan. So Mulan, we won't count Mulan because that came out mid-pandemic,
Right.
and some people have tried to compare Cruella to this. Like, no, that isn't a shot-for-shot remake. That's different. That's a different category.
Yeah. And Ninja says should have made an original mermaid film. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've
yeah.
heard people say that. That assumes that Disney is actually able to make a distinct original thing work. When you think about it, the last time they tried for a non-remake fantasy thing was A Wrinkle in Time, and we know how that worked out.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you can all hear my Xbox bleeping and blooping. So
Yeah. Yeah. Although I will say, with
yes,
regards to this,
I can not only watch The Little Mermaid, I can watch The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, and the musical The Little Mermaid Live.
oh God.
Wait, they have three different versions of The Little Mermaid? Oh, they have the TV show that I was just mentioning a second ago. Okay. So yeah, so if I'm and they have a Little Mermaid sing-along version. So there
Yeah.
are on Disney Plus four different ways I can consume The Little Mermaid and she'll look right.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I would rather not only that, not only would I rather watch the animated version if I did want to watch it,
Mhm.
but also this, I would rather watch Pirates of the Caribbean 4 than this movie. Pirates of the Caribbean 4 was the one with the mermaids.
Yeah, so you've kind of made it less special than it used to be when they did these live action remakes.
Yeah.
Because the thing I noticed about all the Disney live action remakes that topped $1 billion, they all came out before Disney Plus existed.
Mm.
Coincidence? Possibly, but I think it's an interesting point.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So that was option one. Option two, the race thing.
Yeah, I would definitely well, definitely like in China.
Yeah. Now some people were claiming that Disney had modified a poster to make her look like to have it have the ocean light washed out and not be have it be clear what her skin color is for China, but that was just one they had also put out for IMAX.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
So
I don't
it
think
was
they
actually a coincidence.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they did with this movie what they did with like Black Panther or with The Force Awakens, what they did with John Boyega.
Well, you can't really put her in a mask for this movie.
Well, that's true.
Um, so that's one thing, and from what I've heard, she's like the highlight of the movie, which I don't doubt.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't even necessarily say that the Little Mermaid's race is important outside of it's what's been established previously.
right. And well, and it's being used as a marketing. It's been used in their marketing. Her
Right.
her race.
One comment that someone or that she made was that if she'd had a black Little Mermaid when she was a kid, her life would be different. It's like, you're doing pretty good. I mean, you got to be in a high budget Disney movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I yeah, I there's too much, too much of that stuff going on right now.
It is woke by our definition of woke, which is by our agreed upon definition of woke, which is excessive attention paid to demographic traits
Yeah.
over the actual quality of the thing. Also, like I had coworkers talking, like showing me clips like Flounder looks horrifying. What is Sebastian? I thought they couldn't decide between hyperrealism and cartoony, and they split the difference, and that doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. Uh,
So it's just not. And also just because of how light actually works underwater and then being realistic with it, it looks like a darned horror movie in some of those trailers.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wondered about that too, because I mean, I've seen enough movies that take place underwater, and I know how dark it is down there. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, because seagulls can breathe underwater, according to the film.
Well, that's because the seagull's Aquafina. And after hearing that rap, I'd like to start a petition to ban Aquafina and Lin Manuel Miranda from ever working in Hollywood again. Both of those experiments have hit their logical endpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, after seeing Aquafina in Shang-Chi, yeah, I would agree with that. Ugh.
What's funny is that people have been saying that she used to kind of do the black scent when she was rapping, and it's like she can't rap without it. Have you heard the Scuttle rap?
No, no, I have not.
It's almost worth listening to a few seconds of it just to go, oh God, no.
Uh, yeah. Oof.
But we've had reviews in the past where we've talked about the Schrodinger's flop effect, where it seemed like different people were trying to say it was a success or not a success. This time, the raw numbers are not in their favor.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, a rap in Little Mermaid. This was white trash thing ever heard.
It's it's it just seems like it was a misfire, and
Yeah.
there's
Well,
also other funny
yeah.
little details, like every one of Triton's daughters is roughly the same age and is of a different race. So you have to wonder. So it's like on the one hand, you got your diversity in, but now you've added the question: okay, did he just have a harem? What happened to the other wives?
Yeah, or is he like, or was the wife getting around?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Uh, because in the original, you could just assume, oh, their mother had a lot of daughters, and then she must have died giving birth to Ariel, which is why she isn't around. So
Yeah,
now you've introduced a lot of awkward questions.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
It's
Yeah.
like, what? Just make them all black at that point. Make them all match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
I swear, there's just some things where people don't necessarily think things through.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's sort of like like with Velma. They made Shaggy, who was traditionally the stoner character, black.
Although in the show, apparently he makes a big long joke about him hating drugs. So
Oh, yeah.
that was their
Or
attempt at meta comedy. You see,
yeah, or the live action Cowboy Bebop, where they made Jet Black a black guy, and not only but they made him a deadbeat dad.
uh,
Like,
so
way to go.
yeah. So meanwhile, some weeks I've doubted how much they actually put into advertising some things. I've seen a fair number of. I think I've seen a fair number of commercials for this one.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of cross promotional tie-ins with other companies, and yeah.
Yeah. So we're probably looking at like a 900 to $1 billion break even point because this thing cost as much as Thor: Love and Thunder.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Uh, I think that there might have a situation where not a single Disney movie that's released this year actually makes a profit, which would be
yeah.
obscene.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, you got Indiana Jones coming out next month.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. And apparently that movie costs as much as Avatar 2.
So like 500 million.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's gonna need to do like 2 billion to break even.
it is a Kathleen Kennedy joint.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh,
Yeah.
well, we've been jawing about this long enough.
Yeah.
DEG, watch at home. Ant-Man takes the crown from Avatar.
Yes.
65 moving up, as is Cocaine Bear.
Wow.
Yellowstone is way up there. Let's see. Oof, this Guy Ritchie movie, Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre, did not stay in theaters very long.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't very good.
Oh, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is in.
Oh well, that's on HBO or it's on Max. Sorry, it's
That
called
that's the
Max now.
stupidest renaming ever because you've
I
made yourself ungoogleable.
yeah. Ugh.
Creed 3,
Yeah.
Scream
Scream
4,
6, Knock at the Cabin. I've heard
84
Knock at the
Brady.
Cabin's pretty good.
That's the
That's
M. Night Shyamalan one.
right. Yeah, Dave Batista.
Puss in Boots is still hanging in there months on, as well it
Yeah.
should.
Plane.
Plane finally
Plane.
starting to trend down.
Yeah.
The Whale.
The Whale. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now that we've filleted this fish a bit,
Yes.
I think the lesson here is stop making live action remakes.
Yeah.
Don't make Moana. That movie is less than 15 years old. Stop it.
Yeah.
The Rock clearly is not the box office draw you think he is because Black Adam.
Yeah. Oh
So
man.
stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, it's at 50% on Rotten Tomatoes after the red carpet. Ooh.
Are we
But
talking about Indiana
I think
Jones
that's
here, or
Indiana Jones.
oof? Yeah, Indiana Jones apparently bombed at Cannes,
Mm.
and it got a apparently they have a tradition of doing very long standing ovations when movies are shown there. It got a what was considered a perfunctory 5 minutes, and arguably most of that was because of Harrison Ford was right there.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Ugh.
Yeah, man.
Now,
But
as for upcoming movies,
yes.